Hey guys, my name's Allison and I am a grad student here in Tokyo and also an English teacher for those of you who are new to the channel. And I have been learning Japanese for many years now. Not something to brag about really, but it has been more than 5 years and I've been living here for about 3 years now. And recently I put up a video detailing how I wish I started learning Japanese from the beginning because I've made so many mistakes over the years. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. And be sure to like the video and subscribe for more content about Japan in the future. And with that, today I would like to go over just online Japanese resources. Some of these I will have mentioned in the previous video I did, but I really just wanted to give a good overview of the tools I use that have worked for me over the years and that hopefully will help you out if you are struggling. So honestly, all these resources are going to be aimed at like any skill level from beginner all the way up to like what I am now, which is like trying to get into that N1 territory. So I'm going to be going over just like JLPT resources, grammar things, and a lot of native materials because learning Japanese, learning any language, I think one of the most important things to do is absorb as much native speaking content as you can, especially when you hit the middle upper levels. Most of the resources I mentioned in this video are going to be free, and some of them are going to have a small fee, but nothing in the video is going to be too expensive at all. I really want this video to be accessible to anyone, whether you're in high school and you don't have any money even for a textbook, or if you just can't afford it or you don't want to spend the money yet. Totally fine, everyone is different. Regardless of your financial circumstances, if you have an internet connection, you can learn Japanese. So let's just jump right in. So someone recently commented on my previous video that they didn't have any money to afford like textbooks and things like that. And one great resource that has been bouncing around online for a few years now is the taikim Guide to Learning Japanese. So I didn't hear about it until after I'd already, completed everything that they teach you. But I think this is a great alternative for people who can't afford Genki or anything like that. Although honestly, I think you could just find PDF files for like the Genki textbooks online. But let's say you don't want to do that, or you just don't like the style of textbooks. This is more of like a layman's guide to Japanese grammar in the beginning levels. And it is a great start if you just don't really know how to jump in. Especially for grammar, I think that's like the hardest part to learn on your own. So on the topic of grammar, one of the resources I have consulted with many times over the years is maggiesensei.com. So the style of the posts will take some getting used to, but it is very Japanese style in that it's very colorful and it's very fun. It can be a little hard to break the barrier to like understand how the structure is in the posts, but once you get used to it, it's really easy. So like let's say you aren't really sure about a grammar point even after reading it over in the textbook. Maybe they didn't explain it enough or you're not grasping it fully. I will just go into maggiesensei.com and I will look up that exact point because her posts are very long and detailed. So they're not really something I consult when I just want a quick answer, but when I want something in-depth, this is great. So like for example, I'm here on her latest post about sorezore, atari, nitsuki, and kaku. So she'll write all the sentences in like full Japanese, like with kanji, and then she'll have the Romaji version and the English version. And she just goes into things so in-depth. Like you can't have this level of detail in a textbook because you can't print it. And what I really like are, she has a lot of these style posts where she'll go over a few different grammar points that are similar and then explain why they're a little bit different. Personally, I just think her style of writing, even when she has like guest writers on, it's very fun and it's not as stiff as a lot of the textbooks can be. So I think this is a great companion to any of your structured like textbooks or plans you're going through. However, let's say you don't want to read this long blog post, you just want something really quick to understand the point. Honestly, if you just Google the point, these websites will come up. There's like a few that are pretty similar in structure. However, my favorite one is the JLPTsensei. So let's say I just click on the Into Grammar, and here I think this is my favorite part of the website is they have the whole list of all the grammar points and just the meaning very simply, very briefly. This is great when you already learned a point but you just forgot it like for a little bit, you just need a reminder. Or this is the type of thing you could print out and just stick on your bedroom wall. So like let's just click bakari, for example, and it will just lead you to this very brief point about what it is, the meaning, about how to use it, and then this little graphic. I really like it. Again, this is another like companion website. Like maybe you're reading a book and you just don't remember the grammar point. You can just Google it really quickly and get back into it without wasting too much time. And I forgot really quick to mention boompro.com. It is a relatively new SRS-based grammar learning platform. It is similar to Wanikani, which I am about to mention after this, but it is pretty cheap. But I think that's because it's still in development. I think they only have up to N2 level grammar out for now, but it is still growing. I definitely check it out. Okay, so moving on from grammar, if we're talking about kanji, I know I already mentioned this in my previous video, but Wanikani for me, it works really well. In terms of online resources, I think you can't get better than this. If you're not a native English speaker, then maybe this won't be for you because it does rely on a lot of mnemonics. But personally, I don't even look at the mnemonics anymore a lot of the time. I just use it because I'm kind of too busy to like fill it out myself, like fill out the kanji and all that. And paying for something personally just motivates me to actually use it. Because if I don't pay, I'm gonna forget about it and I'm not gonna use it. However, I believe levels 1 through 3 are completely free, so just give it a try and see if it works for you or not. I will say the beginning is super slow, agonizingly slow. But like once you hit level 10 or something, it's going to really ramp up. I will say the bad part of Wanikani is you can't like skip certain kanji you already know or skip levels. You have to start from the very beginning, which is what I did when I already knew a few hundred kanji, and it was kind of hard, but it did act as a review, and now I know those kanji that I already knew a lot better. So like for example, I'm here on my account and I am at level 40 because during the school's term I don't have much time for it. But you can see how many I've learned already. I already have over 4,000 burned, but this includes vocab words. So I think I'm at around 1,300 kanji. And then like you can click on the reviews and just start. So like this is like review, so I'll just type that in. And then it's like that. Like this is waku gumi. Yeah. Personally, I don't like Wanikani on its own though. I do use a plugin. Right here in the left corner you can see this little lightning thing. It basically makes it go really fast. And it lets me redo things if I get it wrong. I'll post the name of the extension right here on the screen. Okay, so moving on to something that is beloved by the Japanese learning community especially is Anki. This is free to download for your computer, however you are going to have to pay to get it like on your phone. But this isn't great just for kanji. You could use it with anything because it's just SRS based flashcards. But you have to input it yourself, or you can download things from a list online. I think on the Anki website they have just, you know, a ton of user generated lists. However, you can see mine right here. I have like kanji, I have vocab, and this is from a book I was reading, and power drill words. Honestly, I just don't have time for this personally in my life right now. I'm focusing on the kanji on Wanikani, and then once I master that, if that ever happens, I think I'm gonna move back to Anki. I just don't have time for it. But this is great, especially if you want to make your own words like I did for Kino no Tabi, the book I'm reading. You know, any words that I don't know that come up a lot, I'll just put them in here. Okay, so now I'm going to talk more about native content and how to consume it and where to find it. Of course, YouTube, where you are right now, the easiest. So if you're like studying for the JLPT and you want to look up a specific grammar point, you could just search that and you will get a video of someone teaching it to you. However, I'm going to mention two channels that I really like that I watch often. So the first one is Nihongo no Mori, and they go over a lot of JLPT level things. They divide it by JLPT level and grammar point, and there's just a ton of videos about it, and I think they explain them really well. I would have failed into without them, I think. I just binged their videos for like 10 hours the day before. And lately they've been doing like this more fun route where they like go into song lyrics. In my last video, I mentioned that one of the things I like to do to learn Japanese is sing at karaoke. And of course you could just look up the song lyrics on your own. However, they go into the lyrics really in detail. Like they will tell you the meaning of these obscure words that come up in song lyrics a lot. It's just a more fun way to learn Japanese, to like supplement your very boring, dry, you know, JLPT content. And then another channel is Japanese Amo with Misa. I would say that in general, she tends to aim for like maybe N5 to N3, but she does have some other materials that I think are applicable even up to N2, maybe N1. But like, for example, she can go into things like this that I still don't know that well, like keigo used at Japanese restaurants. So that's what I'm gonna say about Japanese people who will specifically teach Japanese to you. But I think one of the best ways to be exposed to it isn't just through these, which are great supplementary materials for your own learning, but you need to just absorb yourself to people who aren't trying to teach a foreigner Japanese. So you just want to look up Japanese YouTubers is what I'm saying. They're gonna speak at completely native speed. They're not gonna, you know, sugarcoat it for you because their audience is Japanese people. So like one of my favorites is like Yamamomo, and she just has a lot of lifestyle content, a little bit like anime mixed in, apartment stuff. I really like her personality, and being exposed to these types of videos is gonna be the difference between you understanding like a native speaker who's speaking at native speed and not. So that's just one example of who I like, but to find people who talk about like what you're interested in, I would just look it up in the YouTube search bar and click around and see what you find. So for example, I am a graduate student, so I'm going to look up maggiesensei nichijou. So I'm gonna have this list of results. Let's just see what I think is interesting. So in the title it says Bunkei, and that's what I am. I'm not DK, so I'm more interested in this type of vlog.
Hello there, I'm Saya from Oxford. Video on.
So just from watching a few minutes of the vlog, I already actually really like it. I'm gonna subscribe to her because sometimes in the video she'll say a sentence in English and then she'll basically say almost the exact same sentence in Japanese. And I like the content, so I'm gonna subscribe to her. And now I just have something to watch in my free time when I'm eating dinner and it doesn't feel like I'm studying. That is what is key here. You don't want it to feel like hard work. You want to enjoy it. Yeah, I would just look up any content that's interesting to you. If you don't know the Japanese word for it, just run it through the translator and put it in. You'll get something. Even if it's Disney, you can just put in Disney Sea Tokyo or something. You'll get stuff. This will be pretty hard for people who are N5 and 4 to really like catch the words they're saying. But once you hit maybe like N3, I think you can manage, especially the more like daily lifestyle vlogs where the vocabulary isn't anything too complicated. And of course, you can watch anime and Japanese dramas. Do whatever you want. I don't know why people say you can't watch it. There's a difference between watching it and absorbing it and trying to copy it. Do not copy what they say in anime. But it's still Japanese at the end of the day, and if that's what you enjoy watching, just watch it. Whether that's with subtitles or without subtitles, preferably without if you can manage it. Especially on things like Netflix, you can just turn the subtitles right off and watch it only in Japanese. And if you are struggling with it, then just watch the episode once with subtitles and then go back again and watch it without. That way you'll know what's happening and you'll be able to piece together the words, the sentences a lot more easily. The key to studying with native content is to have fun. You don't want it to feel like a chore. You want to enjoy this studying. So beyond just listening, you do need to get your reading skill up, of course, too. So what I recommend for that is just Googling anything, simple daily life things in Japanese. For example, I will now Google how to cut a carrot. Ninjin no kirikata. Okay, it looks a lot more complicated than I expected. But now we're at this post that is in complete Japanese that will tell you exactly how to cut a carrot. I would say this is for people who are N3 and above. I think below that it'll be kind of difficult. But for example, what you can do here is you can read it out loud, like pira de muku bai wa futoi hou kara hosoi hou ni mukatte pira o ugokashimasu. Te de ninjin o mawashi gururi to ishu mukimashou. Okay, but I don't know what gururito means. I have no idea what that is. So what do you do in this situation? So I have like two options here. I have the Google Translate like extension downloaded on my Chrome. However, I try to use that just when I translate the whole page because I don't want to deal with the Japanese sometimes. But for things like this, I think the better option is Rikai-kun. So you just turn it on, and let's say I want to learn what that word is. I'm going to put it at the beginning of the word, and it's going to highlight it on its own, and it's going to give me the meaning. So it says turning around, going around, so you move the carrot, you know, around. Rikai-kun isn't that good at like place names and just some other more like technical words. So it's not going to work for everything, but for most of what you're reading, it will figure it out. You can even move it over the words with kanji and it will give you the hiragana reading. And it can also tell you that it's in like polite tense, it's in past tense, things like that. So I think Rikai-kun will make reading these kind of hard to get used to articles a lot easier to digest, especially when you're just starting out. And then finally, I will go over one more thing. I mentioned it in my previous video, the Todai app, which takes the NHK Easy News and puts it on your phone. However, you can just do it online on your computer too. So here I am at the NHK Easy website. So I'm just gonna click an article. So I would say the website itself is good for N4, N3 learners. You can just turn off all the kanji like that, or you can have it read it to you. Oh, I still have Rikai-kun on. Things like that, and you can just read it like that. However, what is really good about this is that after you maybe understand it, if you go down here, it says Futsu no news wo yomu. So let's read that. And it will take you to the exact same article, but in the actual like news website writing style, which is incredibly difficult to read and very obtuse, and I hate it, but it is important to learn. I'm not that good at reading news yet. I don't know if I ever will be, but if you read the NHK Easy News article first and then tackle this one, it's gonna be a lot easier. And while this one isn't gonna tell you the kanji and read out the article to you and all that, you can just use Rikai-kun and like, oh, I don't know where this is. Oh, it's Hokkaido, you know? So it's all about using all these resources just to have fun in a smart way and learning Japanese in a way that doesn't feel like a chore to you, that you don't dread doing, and that you can just fit into your daily schedule very easily. Especially YouTube videos, you know, just put one on while you're eating dinner, or let's say you want to cook a recipe, look up the recipe in Japanese and try to follow it that way. See what happens, especially if you're making Japanese food. You will get a lot better stuff that way. So I am sure I missed a ton of good things, but the video can't go on forever. So what is your favorite tool to use online? Please leave it down below in the comments section. I would love to know. I'm sure everyone else would love to know too. So thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Allison. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content about my life here in Tokyo as a grad student and English teacher in the future. I'll also be uploading more content about Japanese if you guys want it. I don't know. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I upload every single week and I will see you guys here again next week. Bye!